topped its prior all-time high set last week. The Dow edged up 0.1%, and the Nasdaq Composite added 0.9% to its all-time high. Tesla jumped after Elon Musk bought stock worth roughly $1 billion in it, potentially signaling his faith in the electric vehicle company. This week's main event will arrive Wednesday when traders expect the Federal Reserve to announce its first cut to interest rates of the year. Perhaps more important will be whether it hints more cuts are coming, as Wall Street also expects. The Dow was up 49 points to finish at 45,883. The Nasdaq gained 207 to 22,348. The S&P 500 added 31 to 6515. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm John Scott.
News and analysis at townhall.com. The Trump
on-point weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Partly cloudy overnight, the low temperature dipping down to 61. Tomorrow it's a blend of sunshine and clouds, more clouds than sun, and we'll have a cooler temp. The high is 81, 20% chance we get a shower. We start to warm back up Wednesday, 83 is the high. Thursday it's 87, and then all the way back to 90 for Friday and Saturday. We'll be dry from Wednesday through Saturday. I'm Cal Moss with your on-point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on sportstalksc.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network. A manic Monday for you. Oh, boy, what a weekend. Everybody among the big three. Let me speak in the words of Dabo Swinney. Just tell them we sucked. All right? Just go and tell them we sucked, because that's what they all did. The big three I'm talking about. The big three sucked. Presbyterian, now the Cinderella story of college football, undefeated. But the big three, they sucked on Saturday. Some sucked more than others. At least Clemson had a chance to win. South Carolina kind of had a chance to win. Coastal, sorry, Bergie. I'm not sure Coastal had
not
much
so
of
much.
a chance to win.
Outclassed by a really good East Carolina team. There's no question.
Yeah, give credit to the Pirates. They came in and pillaged. You know how Pirates are, except for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Most Pirates, they'll come in and the Seton Hall Pirates, for example, they'll pillage you. And the East Carolina Pirates, not the Pittsburgh Pirates, they're going to be losers, and they're going to be in last place almost every year. But let's welcome in Matt Smith. Smitty covered the Gamecocks. Another late night. At least you had no lightning delays this time. Another late night at Williams-Brice, and a sad state of affairs for the Gamecocks against. I tell you, though, Smitty, this might be what you would call a generational Vanderbilt team. It won't be very often that they put together a group as good as this one looks.
Oh, there's no question about that. And I did mention in my story at sportstalksc.com, everybody can go back and still click on that if you want to relive the horror of what happened in Columbia. This isn't your father's Vanderbilt club. This is a good team. But I'll tell you what struck me about both situations, both South Carolina and Clemson. The other two teams were so much better coached. And that's I'm really not casting aspersions at Shane Beamer and Dabo Swinney when I say this. I think both of those coaches, Beamer and Swinney, in their post game, you were in one, I was in the other, had the look of a coach that was surprised that their teams were outcoached. It's not just about the head coach; it's all the way down. Vanderbilt ran their option package to precision. Georgia Tech ran, that fire drill field goal at the end of the game to perfection. Those teams were precise. Their coaches all week preached something, and then they went out and delivered. South Carolina and Clemson on the other 10, it seems like their coaches have one plan and the players have another.
Well, they better figure it out, or it's going to be a long rest of September and rest of the fall, because it's only going to get tougher for South Carolina. Not necessarily the case for Clemson, though this Syracuse team has a quarterback who leads the nation in passing. And Dabo Swinney says his secondary, his corners right now, the play out there, he calls them passive. What's the word he used?
Soft.
Soft, yeah. He's just not happy with the play of his secondary. For that matter, you didn't see. I mean, Haynes King is the real deal. He was the ACC Offensive Player of the Week. You go back and look. I mean, I'm not very good at forecasting things right now because I missed on both of those games. But I did say in my post-game report, look for Haynes King to be the ACC Offensive Player of the Week, and sure enough, he was. And he was outstanding. I mean, he threw where he wanted to throw it. He ran it where he wanted to run it. Clemson's famed defense was, for the most part, not able to contain him. Yet, through everything Clemson went through, the pick six, the drop pass, the penalties, everything that they put themselves through, they congratulations to Georgia Tech for pulling off that and breaking that 9-game streak to the Tigers, and same thing to Vanderbilt. I think this is a generational Vanderbilt team that is probably going to win if they hold it together and don't suffer any severe injuries, because you do have to wonder about their depth. They're probably going to win a lot more games down the stretch, and they look good in a lot of different ways in that win over South Carolina. But then again, the Gamecocks, 4 turnovers. Of course, they lose their starting quarterback to an injury. I thought, and I know right now with the way things are going, everybody is blaming Mike Shula and feeling like the play calling is crap. The offensive production is not good. Obviously, it's not good. Not even going to attempt to paint a rosy picture there. But I thought, Bergie, just going back, and I watched the game, as it was being played, and then I went back and watched it last night. And, I mean, to me, they moved the football, Smitty. They moved the football. First of all, you got to blame the defense for coming out and letting Vanderbilt go right down the field. So the defense wasn't all that either, okay? People would pick on the offense and say blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. Take a look at your defense. You're at home. You're fired up. And what does Vandy do? They stuck it right down your throat on their first possession. Okay, you responded. You responded with a great drive. Right down the field. Sellers looked sharp, ran the ball, got some nice runs from Faison, and you answered. And then if my memory's right, the Gamecocks stopped Vanderbilt, got the ball back, went right back down the field. And play calling I thought was really good. And then there's a pass play called. The tight end breaks wide open on a post, and Sellers throws it to the underneath guy, and it's picked off. And then it was pretty much all downhill from there, because then I think he gets hurt shortly thereafter. And listen, I tipped my cap to Luke Doty, guys, because guy hadn't played quarterback since 2022. I thought he did, for a guy that was thrown in there, I thought he did exceptionally well under the circumstances. But many times on offense, I thought they called good plays. I thought they had some creativity. But you got to execute, Bergie, right? I mean, play callers, they get crucified when the ball doesn't move and when their points aren't on the scoreboard. But you can call really good plays if your guys don't execute, if the guy up front doesn't block. If the quarterback reads the wrong thing and throws it to the wrong place and it's intercepted, that doesn't, it makes the play calling look bad when actually the play calling's not all that bad.
Well, and Phil, we are still in the mindset of college fans that, well, we can't blame the players. They're amateur athletes. They're on scholarship. They're there just for the love of the game. I think we can get past that now. I agree with you wholeheartedly. You can call really good plays as a play caller. You can call really bad plays. But if your guys aren't executing them, the amount of money that players are making now, especially at South Carolina and Clemson, they deserve to be called on the carpet just like the coaches do. I mean, these are paid professional athletes, and just like in the NFL, when the quarterbacks don't play well, how much grief is Pat Mahomes getting today for his performance against the Eagles yesterday? I mean, the college athletes are, in my opinion, no longer off limits for criticism just because they're college athletes. I mean, the amount of money they're being paid, they've got to execute. And I think, to Clemson's point, Dabo Swinney threw him on the carpet a couple of weeks ago after the LSU game. Cade Klubnik is not playing like a first-round NFL draft pick. And if they don't get him going, and same thing when Lenore Sellers comes back, if the Gamecocks don't get him going, I see a long, long season ahead for both of these football teams.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And Smitty, I'll get your thoughts on this as well. I mean, they are paid professional athletes now, so the gloves are off. I'm sorry, I mean, you can't protect him, even coming out of high school now, because the best players coming out of high school are seeking big dollars. They're getting paid big dollars. They have agents. And really, I don't want to paint every player with the same brush, okay?
Sure.
But I'm sorry, the perception is that players today don't give a damn about the school. All they care about is where they're going to get paid or where can they play and get on the field and get paid. And they have that right to feel that way now because that's the system we've created. For example, with Virginia Tech firing their coach, you're seeing Virginia Tech current players. See, now they have a window. This is what's messed up about the system. So now these players can immediately opt out of the rest of the season and put their names in the transfer portal, just sit out the rest of the season and save this year because they haven't played 4 games. And this is what's happening. You're going to see Virginia Tech players opting out of the season and not playing anymore and putting their name in the portal. Now, they got to stay in school, I guess, and finish their semester to have those hours and everything transfer. You got to think about the academic side. But this is a flaw in the system. This is a major flaw in the system. And they shouldn't get paid. They shouldn't get paid if they're not playing. So I don't know what the situation is. I've already seen where one big-time Virginia Tech player has taken that step. So if you're not playing, you shouldn't get paid. In fact, if you've taken the money, you need to refund the money. But anyway, the reason for holding back and not criticizing today's college players, that's long gone. That's long gone in my opinion. If you're not getting it done, and you're parking your Mercedes outside the football building and you're not getting it done, then you should expect people to speak out and be critical of you. It can't all be on the coaches. Yeah, they're bad coaches out there. Don't get me wrong. They're coaches who can't coach their way out of a wet paper bag, and you can see that. But I don't think South Carolina staff, nor do I think Clemson staff, is made up of bad coaches. I think they're good coaches. They're proven coaches. They're NFL coaches. They're coaches who've been in college for a long, long time. And their players just have to step up and play better. And maybe you have to look at the impact of money. How is money impacting the play of players? Smitty, do you think the fact that these guys now are millionaires in some cases affects them on the field in some way because they're not mature enough to handle it? At least by the time you get to the NFL, you're in your 20s. Maybe you're a little bit older and better able to handle it. I don't know. I mean, I guess you got millionaires playing at, Ohio State and Penn State and who else? I'm trying to think of Miami. I mean, you got millionaires playing there. They don't seem to be affected. Maybe I'm grasping at straws here.
I think this is to your point what you just said, look, the NIL and transfer portal era, the concern was it was going to be the haves and the have-nots, that Vanderbilt and Georgia Tech were going to be left behind because the larger schools in the SEC and ACC, I was actually going to make the opposite point. the NIL and the transfer portal, but it's still football. A backup quarterback for Notre Dame dropped a snap. They miss an extra point. They lose. It's still blocking and tackling. South Carolina lost because they missed a block and Lenora Sellers got lit up. Mm-hmm. That offensive line is a mess. I don't know how much they're getting paid, but really, I don't care much about the money. I was told, hey, this was going to be a problem. Vanderbilt can't play in this era. It's NIL, it's transfer portal. Well, Diego Pavia was a 3-star recruit coming out of high school. He couldn't make South Carolina's roster. They don't have quarterbacks at South Carolina anymore. They're 3-star recruits. They don't want Diego Pavia. They don't want Haynes King. That's what I'm talking about. It's still football. It's blocking. It's tackling. It's limiting turnovers. It's playing field position. It's all the things that everybody rolls their eyes about when coaches say it. Like when Brent Key says it on a Tuesday in 7 minutes, they roll their eyes. That's football. South Carolina's highly paid right guard, I don't know how much he gets paid. I don't know, and I kind of don't care because Brent Pry is getting paid, and I'm not sure I'd pay that guy to wash my car. So I don't know about the money, but I know that South Carolina's offensive line is not as good as Vanderbilt's offensive line. And that's and by the way, Clemson, same thing. Bryant Wesco Jr. is the best athlete on the field. The best, bar none. There's nobody that would not want him. I will do anything to get him on my team. Well, guess what? Key third down comes up, he drops it. Yeah, well, Jamal Haynes, 5'9" running back for Georgia Tech that was, I don't know where he was recruited, probably 3 stars, maybe 2 stars. He's the one picking up tough yardage to help Georgia Tech win the game. So there's a flaw in the system, and it's the fact that the communication between the coaches at South Carolina and Clemson, I'm not talking about Ohio State or Southern Cal or Texas or anywhere else, South Carolina and Clemson have a problem. Their coaches tell the players to do something, they don't get it done. Vanderbilt and Georgia Tech, those players say, whatever you need, coach, I'll get it done. I don't know what they're getting paid, but they're better football players right now than Clemson and South Carolina has.
They're playing well together, and they believe in what they're being told to do and how they're being coached and how they're being game planned at this point. All right, back in a moment.
When I grew up, I want to be a nurse.
I want to be an engineer.
I want to be a teacher.
There's never been a better time to start making their dreams come true. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 college savings plan, makes it easy to save for their future education. Contributions are tax deductible, earnings are tax free, and you can start saving right now with any amount. Go to futurescholar.com today to discover the smart, easy way to save for college. That's futurescholar.com.
We're with Major Billy Downer of the Department of Natural Resources, and we're visiting at the brand new DNR offices at the State Farmers Market. Major, tell us more about this place.
That's right, Phil. The Department of Natural Resources has a new office located at the South Carolina Farmers Market. You can find us at 260D Epting Lane inside the Farmers Market grounds. Look for the DNR logo when you turn off of Highway 221 in West Columbia, or you can always go to the App Store on your Apple or Android device and look for Go Outdoors SC. Download the app and you can buy all of your license needs right there.
Visit GoOutdoorsSouthCarolina.com today.
In Columbia, South Carolina, game days are our specialty. Whether you're watching the game from inside the stadium or from the big screen at your favorite local spot, the energy remains the same. Craft the perfect fall Saturday in a city where there is plenty of action on and off the field. From tubing and kayaking to Soda City to rooftop restaurants and plenty barbecue. We're ready when you are. Plan your weekend at experiencecolumbiasc.com.
You were always more than my mom. You were my role model, my best friend, and biggest supporter. You filled my days with unconditional love, and you also prepared for the day when you couldn't be here. Because of the woman you were back then, I'm able to be the woman I am now. Your planning made this moment possible.
Set your family up for life. Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance. Your friends for life.
Life insurance isn't for you. It's for those you love the most. For a complete insurance review, call Buddy Bridges in Lawrence County at 864-923-2174, serving Lawrence, Clinton, and the shores of Lake Greenwood.
Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi. Not licensed to do business in all 50 states.
All right, coming up, lots of your phone calls. Phone number 888-898-2525. South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to reach us here on Sports Talk. Also, you can drop us a text message that we will get to, and that number is 803-900-4847, the Larry Lucas Insurance text line to reach us here on Sports Talk. Call Larry at 803-799-1998 for all your insurance needs. But don't call that number for the text message. That number for the text messaging is 803-900-4847. A couple of other things on my mind before you get to your phone calls. You know, I don't consider myself the journalism police by any means, okay? But I do think I know a little bit about the business. And I really get sick and tired of reporters on social media when there is a job opening and they start listing other coaches, calling them candidates. Candidates. So if you call someone a candidate, what you're saying is, if you report that somebody is a candidate, what you're saying is, or if you write that somebody is a candidate, what you're saying is that individual has applied for the job. The definition of candidate means two things, one of two things. You have applied for a job or you are running for a political office. That's it. Now, if you're a reporter and you have any journalism instinct in you, words should mean something. That was drilled into my head by many news directors and sports directors and bosses over the years. Words mean something. Part of the problem in today's world of media is words don't mean anything. Clicks mean everything. It's what can I throw out there that people are going to look at and click on so I can get paid. I mean, these guys get paid for their clicks. You realize that, right? A lot of them get paid based on the number of clicks that they get, which is pretty sad. But that being said, to come right out of the chute and say that Shane Beamer is a candidate for Virginia Tech, as some at On3 and 247, probably ESPN if I dug deep enough, wrote last night, not long after Pry was fired at Virginia Tech. You know, they start throwing names out there, candidates. They're not candidates unless they have applied for the job, unless they picked up the phone or their agent picked up the phone and talked to the AD of Virginia Tech and said, my man wants the job, you know. And I can guarantee you that did not happen and has not happened. Now they say, you know, Virginia Tech is definitely going to make that phone call. They're going to make that phone call to Shane Beamer. Why would Virginia Tech make the phone call to Shane Beamer to begin with? Besides the fact he has the last name of Beamer. I mean, do they think that he's just magically going to walk into a dire situation and turn it around in a year or two? I think Shane Beamer still has to prove himself, I think, in large part. He's into year 5 at South Carolina, and he's not won an SEC championship. They did have a good year last year. The story is still to be written on this year, but after this past Saturday, there's not, a lot of people are down on their situation. Maybe they shouldn't be so down. Most years, 2-1 start for the Gamecocks is, worthy of a parade. We'll see how they're feeling after this week's trip to Missouri. But my point in all this, Bergie, is if we're going to play reporter, at least try and have some idea of the responsibility of putting things out. And to call somebody a candidate and to have a so-called hot board and say, here are the candidates, or even if you say possible candidates. Candidate is the wrong word. I guess you could say possible candidates, or you could say a potential candidate.
Possible replacements.
Yeah,
would be the word I would use.
But I'm just saying that this is just total. It's just total recklessness on behalf of these major networks who should know better. They should know better when they're doing their reporting.
Well, I just find it nice of you to actually call these people on social media journalists, which they aren't. And you pointed it out correctly. They are commentators with the mouse. And Beamer, he might be interested in the job. I mean, it is his alma mater. So, I mean, there would be a natural pull for him. But unless you've actually talked to him or talked to Virginia Tech, all those, hot boards are just made up names. I mean, I'm sure Florida has Lane Kiffin on their hot board, right? Yeah. Lane Kiffin's got a job, and he got a really good job at Ole Miss. And Florida has a coach right now. But they're already lining people up to replace Billy Napier if he's fired at any given time.
Let me say
the whole thing is ridiculous.
No one that is not looking at a job at Florida State or Clemson is leaving an SEC job for the ACC. That's it.
Yeah,
we can cut all that out. That is beyond ridiculous to think you would go to Virginia Tech. The situation they're in, who would want that? There is nobody with an SEC job not named Billy Napier that would even consider going to Virginia Tech right now.
And Shane Beamer's making $8 million a year at South Carolina. I'm not sure Virginia Tech would top that. And you're right, SEC to the ACC. If you want to coach in the best league. And what you said, Bergie, reminds me of something I read after Alabama lost their opener. One of the national reporters posted the buyout for the coach at Alabama. I wonder what they're posting now after they whipped Wisconsin over the weekend.
On Point weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Partly cloudy overnight, the low temperature dipping down to 61. Tomorrow it's a blend of sunshine and clouds, more clouds than sun, and we'll have a cooler the high is 81, 20% chance we get a shower. We start to warm back up Wednesday, 83 is the high. Thursday it's 87, and then all the way back to 90 for Friday and Saturday. We'll be dry from Wednesday through Saturday. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Hey y'all, it's Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We're introducing Friday Night Prime Rib Special. Our great chefs at Flight Deck Restaurant have created a great prime rib dinner special, which includes a 10-ounce slow-roasted certified Angus beef prime rib dinner, served with 2 sides of your choice for only $22.95. And if you mention We Love Flight Deck, you get a free cookie or a soft drink with your meal. So come see us at Flight Deck Restaurant to enjoy a delicious slow-roasted prime rib dinner. While you're here, check out the new and improved arcade with over 33 games. We at Flight Deck Restaurant thank you, and God bless.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. FBI Director Kash Patel says DNA on a towel wrapped around a rifle found near where conservative activist Charlie Kirk was assassinated matches that of the 22-year-old accused in the killing. Patel told Fox and Friends on Monday investigators have also used DNA to link suspect Tyler Robinson with a screwdriver recovered from the rooftop where the fatal shot was fired. Authorities in Utah are preparing to file capital murder charges against Robinson as early as tomorrow. President Trump says the U.S. military again targeted a boat allegedly carrying drugs from Venezuela, killing 3 aboard the vessel. Trump announced the strike in a posting on social media. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 49 points. The Nasdaq rose 207. This is SRN News.
Lots of plumbing companies out there. Few are truly local. Time to discover the difference with Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. See, when I faced plumbing woes at the Cohen home, Josh and his dedicated team, well, they were my go-to solution. They make a commitment to exceptional service. They arrived on time, clearly detailed all the costs and procedures, and efficiently handled all my repairs without any surprises. These days, how often do we complain about a lack of customer service out there? With Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, these folks are professional. They're courteous. They're skilled at what they do, and they've earned my trust, and they've earned my recommendation to you. From urgent repairs to the tankless water heater you've always wanted, they've got you covered. Visit franklinplumbing.sc.com or call 799-2222. That's 799-2222. Hey, you tell them Kev sent you from The Point. I'm pretty sure you'll want to thank me later.
If you've never had genuine Wagyu or Hereford steaks and burgers, you don't know what you're missing. Time to order the best of the best from HandJCattle.com. These are local farmers in Saluda where tradition meets quality. The best quality beef and a discount for Point listeners. Enter keyword The Point as one word and get 10% off, plus free delivery in Lexington and Richland County orders of $50 or more. It's cooked in season over at HandJCattle.com.
Looking to make life simpler and save money? Make a smart move. Transfer your high interest balances to a Founders credit card and take advantage of our balance transfer rate as low as 2.99% APR. That's right, as low as 2.99% with no balance transfer fees. That means more breathing room for what matters, like taking that long awaited vacation or finally getting ahead. Whether you're catching up or simply just want to relax, we're here to help you save more. So, what are you waiting for? Take advantage of this limited time offer through September the 30th. Apply now and enjoy peace of mind knowing you've made a smart move that works for your wallet and for you. Visit foundersfcu.com or stop by a local office today. Promotional rate expires 6 months from the date of the transaction. Then effective APR of 13.25% to 17.9% will apply. For more details, visit foundersfcu.com/cc. Membership qualification required.
Escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life with Spa MD, your sanctuary of rejuvenation. Feel the tension melt away as our expert team guides you through your customized wellness journey. From soothing massages to revitalizing treatments, we promise a remarkable experience that leaves you feeling renewed and empowered. Discover the calm within every visit. Reach out at 251-9400 or online at visitspamd.com to explore your options. Your oasis of tranquility awaits.
All right, to your phone calls in just a moment. 888-898-2525. Couple of quick important notes. South Carolina, Kentucky, a week from Saturday, the 27th. That'll have a 7:45 kickoff on the SEC Network, so another nighttime kickoff at Williams-Brice for the Gamecocks. Presbyterian quarterback Colin Hurst, the PFL Offensive Player of the Week, going 15 of 21 for 350 and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions in the win over Erskine. Furman quarterback Trey Hedden, SoCon Offensive Player of the Week, 26 of 35 for 314 and 2 touchdowns, the win at Campbell. Paladin defensive end Joshua Stone King, Defensive Player of the Week, 6 tackles, 4.5 for loss, and a fumble recovery. Receiver Evan James of Furman is the Stats Perform FCS National Freshman Player of the Week. He caught 10 in that game, including a 30-yard touchdown to give Furman the lead inside of 5 minutes to go in that game. And Presbyterian, 3-0, receiving enough votes to be ranked 26th in the Stats Perform FCS poll this week. SC State also received votes. And Shane Beamer's listed at 5-1 to be the next coach at Virginia Tech, according to odds published by Bet Online. Former NFL coach John Gruden is 4-1. He's the favorite. He's also listed 4-1 to be the next coach at UCLA. Okay. Phone number 888-898-2525. Text line is 803-900-4847. Hank in Columbia is up with us first tonight on Sports Talk. Hank, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Corn. And I'm going to give you some stuff to just get your thoughts on it, but I'm going to try to be quick. The Virginia Tech thing is crazy. I think the coach makes like $3 million less than Beamer right now, which already tells you where the resources are. Mm-hmm. And an SEC job. Plus, Beamer's not. You can't say he hadn't reached his pinnacle here, but he's done a solid job. He's built a solid program. I think he missed 1 year, but we missed one bowl game a year. But other than that, he's been solid and recruited well. So I think he's starting to get entrenched here, where you'd be starting off totally over up there.
I would agree. I'd be shocked if he walked. I would be. I'd be shocked if he walked. Plus, he'd be, going against everything he's been saying about the last few years. Then again, you cannot, coaches are, he has certain feelings for Virginia Tech and for Blacksburg that run deep within him. And who's to say, just like with Alabama.
If you were at Atlanta.
Hang on. Just like if at Alabama, with Dabo Swinney at Clemson and the Alabama situation, I mean, those things run deep. If things don't work out with Kalen DeBoer, I mentioned going to the break, some guy had written after Alabama lost their opener to Florida State, he posted the buyout for Kalen DeBoer like they're going to fire him tomorrow, which is absolute, ludicrous. And now they've won their last two. They just blasted Wisconsin at home. They seem to, their quarterback is settling in. I mean, the overreaction syndrome on social media and, of course, the clickbait is what drives all this stuff and is what drives, I think, people kind of lose their minds over all this stuff. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, and in Atlanta, Beamer gave a pretty statement about where he felt towards Carolina versus Virginia Tech after the game. So, if Virginia Tech people stayed in the stadium, I don't think they would want him on the top of the list. But the one thing I will say this, a good bit of, Vanderbilt is going to be a good team. I don't think you can compare that Vanderbilt team to the teams of the past because Vanderbilt did spend money this year, and a lot of their players who came back, it's like 18 or so came back, a lot of them are up in age. So I think that's the congruence that we're seeing with some of these teams that are pretty good teams. You say, how can they not spend more? With the advent of COVID, you got players on some teams that may not go far after they finish, but they're older players who've seen a lot of football. And that's what scared me about our game. Because, one thing I will say about this, the offensive line was horrible the first 2 weeks. The other night, I didn't think they were that horrible. The other night, they gave Sellers the pocket to do work. They gave Doty a pocket to do work. On the play that Sellers got hit, remember, the offensive line picked up everybody coming off of the ball. There was a delayed linebacker that came running through the gap, and Sellers threw a hot route, which he hit. It was just that the guy didn't pull off of him. He went through him and went up high. In the NFL, that guy, it's targeted, so the guy got thrown out. But in the NFL, that's a real big. They don't allow that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but other than that, I think South Carolina outgained Vanderbilt. If you look at the stats, the big killers were the turnovers and the fact of getting off the field on third down. And I thought Vanderbilt was going to give us problems with that because even though we're talented, we have a lot of new guys, young guys on defense, and Vanderbilt was showing a lot of eye candy, and they never went for big hitters. There was always 4 yards here, 9 yards here. They hit that one long third down, but a lot of it was like they'd be 3rd and 4, and they would do you like Army and the Citadel would do you. They just get just enough to extend that clock. So I just kind of wanted to hear your thoughts on it because when I knew we were in trouble when Norris, I was comfortable until Norris went down. When I knew we were in trouble when they went up that second touchdown and in the third quarter, and by the time we touched the ball for the second time in the third quarter, we were already under 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my, yeah. So I just wanted to hear your thoughts. Got to clean up the turnovers, but we'll just have to see what happens down the road.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I mean the Gamecock, Smitty, you were there. You were at the stadium, and there were some things that you had to like. Faison had 74 yards, a 16-yarder. He ran with some authority. He had some very good-looking moves. He had a touchdown. Sellers was on his way maybe to a big night. He was 6 of 7 for 94 yards when he was hurt. He had a quarterback rating of 169.9 at the time he was hurt. That's the whole thing. I mean, let's face it, Luke Doty did all he could do But everything changes when your quarterback goes out like that.
Well, now that's absolutely true. And I didn't say that in my opening comments because I kind of feel like we all agree with that, right? However, I think it's important that it's truly – a character is only revealed when you face adversity. And South Carolina faced adversity when Lenore Sellers left the game. And that's why I left the stadium believing this team was in trouble. And I think anybody that saw them play against Virginia Tech or South Carolina State said something's not right here. And that's why I made such an impassioned speech earlier, because I think I looked at this team and everybody had a similar feeling. There was an eeriness, right? There was an eeriness about them that it was a house of cards, and the card that was pulled was Lenore Sellers. Well, Luke Doty came into the game. Luke Doty was a former 4-star recruit, highly recruited player at quarterback. He's a veteran. This team, why didn't they rally? I mean, I'm not saying he didn't. He did rally. Rasul Faison did run hard. What was going on with this team in terms of attitude? And I have a quote in my head from Albert Einstein: weakness of attitude becomes weakness of character. Something was going on with this team, and I'm not talking about just Saturday night. Dating back, we've been hearing whispers that somehow Sellers and Shula weren't on the same page. Something was going on, and it all came down. Now, as far as the offensive line goes, I'm not going to go so easy on them as Hank just did. I agree. They actually outgained Vanderbilt, but stats are for losers. They protected Doty at times. Yes, they protected Sellers at times. But remember these. Let me give you a couple of examples. One, remember the ball that was snapped at Sellers' feet that led to like 3rd and 33?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Vanderbilt didn't do that all night. Never happened. 4 quarters, never happened. Yeah, okay, it was a delayed blitz from the linebacker. I don't know about a lot of offensive line play, but we talked to offensive linemen. We talked to former offensive line coaches like we're going to do at 7:35 with Zach Willis. Inside out. That was an inside linebacker that the guard didn't pick up or the center didn't pick up, and he got a free shot on their quarterback, and he's knocked out for a week and maybe more. Okay? And later in the game on 4th and 1, Vanderbilt had a 4th and 1. They ran a play-action pass. Pavia rolled out and threw to a wide-open receiver. South Carolina didn't pick them up. They committed to the run. That same game, because I noted this, Luke Doty ran a play-action fake. Nobody picked up a blitzing linebacker. He was under duress immediately, so they didn't pick him up. And then he threw to a covered receiver, and it was incomplete. And again, that's coaching. When I say coaching, I'm not picking on the coaches. Also, you have to be coachable. The players have to do all this. So I'm not nearly as easy on the offense. Show me. I'm waiting for South Carolina's offensive line. That's 3 games I've watched now from South Carolina play. 2 of them I was at in person. I'm waiting for them to show me a mid-tier SEC level offensive line. I haven't seen it in 2025.
Good points. Yeah, the offensive line has not come together cohesively just yet. And something else that I would add here too, Bergie, is, again, we talk about play calling and moving the football. I mean, look, the Gamecocks took the ball. They went for a touchdown, 7 plays, 75 yards. Next possession, they took the ball. They went 6 plays, 43 yards, reached the Vanderbilt 14. That's where he threw the interception. Next drive was not much. They ended up punting. They were in their own side of the field. They ended up punting. Next possession was when Sellers got hurt, I believe. They ended up attempting a long field goal that just missed. It was a 10-play, 40-yard drive. They moved it to the Vanderbilt 35. In the second half, they moved to the Vanderbilt 44. At one point, lost it on downs. Later, they went to the Vanderbilt 24, lost a fumble, went to the Vanderbilt 12, threw an interception. My point is they moved the ball. They moved the ball and had ample opportunity to put points on the board. Players have got to make the plays there to score the points. You can come down on the coaching staff all you want to. You can call the offensive coordinator a bumbling idiot. You can call out his mental state, as one idiot has done on a website. The fact of the matter is the players have to make the plays. The coaches put them in position. You got to make the play as a player.
Well, and you can circle in a couple of stats that back that up, Phil. First off, it's not the coach's fault. You can argue that maybe they're not coaching them correctly, but 8 penalties for 85 yards by the Gamecocks against 4 for 40. For Vanderbilt, the time of possession was so lopsided, and I think part of it was that Vandy was able to control the game by hanging on to the football. But the one that sticks out to me is trips inside the red zone for both teams. Vanderbilt scored 3 touchdowns on their 4 trips in the red zone. South Carolina scored 1 on their 3. So, I mean, you've got to execute when you get close to the end zone. And that's something that hampered the Gamecocks for sure on Saturday. If they score touchdowns every time, does that make the difference? Who knows? And if Lenoris doesn't get hurt, do they win? I'm not sure. I think it's a much more competitive game.
Now, you and Smitty are smart guys, and Josh is a high school graduate, so he's smart enough. I can't figure this out. So they both ran 63 plays, right?
Mm-hmm.
They both ran 63 plays. So how is it that Vanderbilt had the ball 11 minutes longer if they both ran 63 plays? I know that's correct, but how does that happen? Typically, when a team has possession, 10 minutes more than the other team, they've run about 15 or 20 more plays. They ran the same number of plays. How do you explain the 11-minute gap?
I can tell you what was happening in the ball game. And this is very interesting. This is why it's so interesting to pull these games apart. This is why I was suggesting, and Corn, you saw it with Georgia Tech and Haynes King. He was in complete control of what was going on. Georgia Tech was in complete control most of the day in terms of what they wanted to do and in terms of their identity. So was Vanderbilt. Pavia was at the line, once they had the lead, watching the play clock, letting it go down, letting it run down. And this started earlier. This started in the third quarter. Hey, we're in control. We want to keep the offense on the field. It's 3rd and 3. We know we're in 4-down territory. So he'd let the clock run down, take the snap. If they got 2 yards, they knew they had 4th and 1. They'd let it run down. Then they would take the snap. Meanwhile, South Carolina was harried, right? Because they were behind. They were snapping the ball more quickly, not getting a long look at the defense because they were behind. They needed 2, 3, 4 scores to win this game. And it's just fascinating. In this era of the NIL and transfer portal, veteran quarterbacks play still matters. I know Cade Klubnik is a veteran now, but if you watched that game, and Corn, you were right there with your own 2 eyes on it, was Haynes King not so much more in control of what was happening down to down, almost like he was thinking along with the coaches? And I'm not really picking on Cade Klubnik as much as I am just giving Haynes King and Diego Pavia compliments here. I thought they just looked like veteran guys, like they were grown men, not in terms of physicality, just physicality. They were physical, but physicality, but also mental aptitude. They just looked in complete control of their offenses and the game script.
They did. I mean, Haynes King he might be the ACC Offensive Player of the Year. He keeps it going the way he's got it, though. He's going to have some competition from Beck and maybe some others. Florida State guy. Hey, if I had told you a quarterback went 24 of 34 for 252, would you say that guy had a good game? That's what the Gamecocks quarterbacks were against Vandy, 24 of 34, but they had 2 picks.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hosteller Brown. Did you know your will is designed for your assets to pass through the probate court? If you want to keep your loved ones out of court, a revocable trust is a great place to start. Visit lawyerlisa.com for more information and to see how we can help.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
When South Carolina's best high school football players take the field at the Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl, they're backed by a powerful team of their own. As proud title sponsors, your local co-ops celebrate more than just a game. It's a tradition where talent shines, where teamwork matters, and where community spirit takes center stage. Don't miss the 78th Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl, December 13th at Doug Shaw Memorial Stadium in Myrtle Beach, powered by your electric cooperative.
Hi, Phil Kornblut here with our good friend George Bryan III, heard every Friday night on Birdies, Bogeys, and Biceps right here on Sports Talk. George, the Tsunami Bar, a very valuable tool for golfers. Why is that?
Well, the first thing that I say is the tempo. It's the only tool out there that allows the study of tension right from the first grab to be expressed, and rhythm and tempo is what makes the bar work, and it gives you something awfully special to keep those hands soft and get that rhythm going.
Learn more about Tsunami Bar technology by clicking on the digital ad on our website, sportstalksc.com, and save 5% by purchasing online using the promo code BBB5. It's feeling awfully good outside in South Carolina. No rain in the forecast. Beautiful temperatures, blue skies. Why don't you head down to the beach and let the Atlantic Ocean just wash off all that evil that you're feeling on your body right now after this past weekend. The evil spirits that come with losing football games. Let the Atlantic Ocean wash that away. You can do that by going to the beach. You need a place to stay. You want a quality, affordable location. Just call Jimmy Smith at James Smith Real Estate at 843-237-4246. Online at pauliesvacationrentals.com. They'll hook you up in a great location. You know they got a lot of properties this time of year. A lot of properties wide open, so you'll have your pick of the litter. And if you're more interested in making a permanent move, like buying some dirt or buying a condo or a house, they'll be more than happy to take care of that with you as well. 843-237-4246 for your perfect beach getaway. That's at Paulie's and Litchfield and Garden City and Murrells Inlet and Myrtle Beach and all those great locations. That's James Smith Real Estate at pauliesvacationrentals.com.
And please go the next 3 weekends. Go ahead and get all your vacation out done this weekend, next weekend, or the following weekend. That way I don't have to deal with you people on the roads. So please go to the beach this weekend, next weekend, after that.
Get off my lawn, said the old man.
Traffic has gotten so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's September. Aren't you in school?
And see, I thought it was going to be, I thought it was going to be an absolute mess going to Georgia Tech. I made it in. I left my daughter. My daughter lives in Chamblee, which is on the outskirts. I was parked in 30 minutes. I was from her house to the garage, which is on the backside of Georgia Tech. I was parked in 30 minutes. I was so proud of myself. I text Bergie because he's always, riding me when I'm late for something.
And what did that experience teach you, Phil?
It's a great feeling.
You were on time. You got there early. You didn't have to worry.
I was there for breakfast.
No, let's be honest. He probably took a 15-minute nap in his car. He probably
should have.
Yeah.
Should have. All right, let's go to Stephen in Lexington. Next up on Sports Talk tonight. Hello, Stephen. Welcome in. Hello, Mr. Stephen. Are you there?
I'm here. Hey, guys.
Hey.
I love Hank, the Gamecock apologist. Do y'all know if he's employed by the university or if he's just that delusional?
He is. He's a de facto chairman of the board.
Okay. So he's not physically paid. He just thinks he's on the board of directors.
I don't think he's physically paid. No.
Okay.
But he has been involved in education. He has been involved in education over the years.
Okay. Well, just to address a couple of comments, when it comes to coaches' careers, what's the biggest, hallmark in them holding their jobs and, making history? Is it wins and losses?
Yes.
Okay. So when you pretend that the SEC is such a better place to lose a job in 2 or 3 years as opposed to the ACC, would it be easier for Shane Beamer, which I don't think they would give him a job anywhere right now, but to win the ACC or the SEC?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. All ACC jobs are not created equal, and with what's happening at Miami and what's happening now at Florida State, their resurrection, and still Clemson is Clemson, where Georgia Tech has come up to at this point. If you think about those programs being stable and having some long-term success, Virginia Tech will have a lot of bodies to climb over in the ACC to get to the top, just like he does in the SEC. Just like he does in the SEC. Would
it be easier for upward momentum in the ACC than at South Carolina, Vanderbilt, or Kentucky?
I still think, Stephen, I understand your point, but let me bring this in. Coaches don't take jobs if they think they're going to lose. They don't take them that way. They don't take them thinking at South. Mark Stoops doesn't think he's going to lose it at Kentucky. Clark Lee doesn't think he's going to lose at Vanderbilt. So you could say, well, I'll take the Wake Forest job because the ACC's easier, but you don't take the job thinking you're going to lose anyway. Well, I'll win more at Wake Forest. No, you think you're going to win everywhere you go. You might be delusional, but you think you're going to win.
Well, and thanks for the call. Look, the South Carolina job schedule-wise is a tougher job, but you have many more advantages at South Carolina. You have
including salary.
Well, salary, not to mention the money they're pouring into the program.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Vice President J.D. Vance guest-hosted Salem Radio Network's Charlie Kirk Show live from the White House today. The Vice President praised Charlie Kirk's commitment to being a family man.
Maybe the best way that I can contribute and the best way that I can honor my dear friend is to be the best husband that I can be, to be the kind of husband to my wife that he was to his. We talked all the time about the most important thing you could do is not vote for a particular candidate. It was to become, if you were a young man, a husband and a father. He talked about the joy that came from fatherhood, the joy that came from raising a family.
A memorial service honoring the life of Charlie Kirk will take place this coming Sunday in Arizona. The service will be broadcast live on many of these same radio stations across the nation. Meanwhile, FBI Director Kash Patel says DNA in a towel wrapped around a rifle found near where Kirk was assassinated matches that of the 22-year-old accused in the killing. Patel told Fox and Friends on Monday. Investigators also have used DNA to link suspect Tyler Robinson with a screwdriver recovered from the rooftop where the fatal shot was fired. Several more states are considering redrawing their congressional maps.
Texas, California, and Missouri may have led the way, but the battle over redistricting is far from over. At least 7 states are considering new maps, likely to give either Republicans or Democrats better chances in the 2026 battle for the House. Republicans currently hold a 220 to 213 advantage, with 2 seats previously held by Democrats now vacant after their deaths and scheduled to be filled by special elections over the next several weeks. Bob Agnew reporting.
On Wall Street, the Dow up by 49 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
My debt problem started probably about 2016. I needed my life to change financially. I called Trinity and I ended up joining based on high credit card bills and high interest rate. And my counselor at Trinity has been great, and Trinity has been helping me to get on the right path of paying off these credit card bills, bringing down the interest rate. They have consolidated my bills into one low monthly payment. And now I am finally getting out of credit card debt. So I just want to say thank you, Trinity, for showing me a better and greater path.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Sharon, and soon I will be debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
Two House Republicans say they will oppose Speaker Mike Johnson's plan to pass a clean stopgap spending bill this week that would punt a possible government shutdown into November. Correspondent Bernie Bennett has more on the story from Washington, D.C.'s Capitol Hill.
Kentucky Republican Thomas Massey, who regularly opposes leadership-backed spending bills, said in a brief interview Monday that he would oppose a new expected continuing resolution as well. Indiana Republican Victoria Spartz said in an ex-post Sunday night that she was also a no, saying she could not and cannot support a continuing resolution that ends funding right before a major holiday to jam us with an omnibus. The Johnson-backed measure is expected to expire on the Friday before Thanksgiving. 2 no votes would put House Republicans at risk of losing a party line vote if one additional GOP member breaks ranks. Bernie Bennett, Washington.
News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters.
On-point weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Partly cloudy overnight, the low temperature dipping down to 61. Tomorrow it's a blend of sunshine and clouds, more clouds than sun, and we'll have a cooler the high is 81, 20% chance we get a shower. We start to warm back up Wednesday, 83 is the high. Thursday it's 87, and then all the way back to 90 for Friday and Saturday. We'll be dry from Wednesday through Saturday. I'm Cal Moss with your on-point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Hour number 2 of Sports Talk Media Network. Phone number 888-898-2525. South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to reach us here on Sports Talk. And our text message line is 803-900-4847. And our poll question of the week, presented by Larry Lucas Insurance. Be sure to call Larry at 803-799-1998 for all your insurance needs. Clemson and South Carolina suffered bad losses on Saturday. Regardless of which team is yours, does it matter? How does Saturday affect your approach for remaining games? Are you 100% still in? Have you lost some enthusiasm, or are you finished with it? I have to credit Bergie with the suggestion for this poll question.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. Of the responses, 61.5% say they have lost some enthusiasm. 23.1% say they're 100% in, and 15.4% say I'm finished with it. That didn't take long.
My guess is, though, if you polled Clemson fans and said, all right, Tiger fans, when will you lose game number 2? If you lose 2 games, and a lot of them would say, well, we're not losing 2 games. This was before the season. Mm-hmm. My guess is they would not have said after week 3.
Yeah. Yeah. It's shocking to see Clemson in the position that they're in at 1-2 and out of the polls. South Carolina out of the polls, though they are 24th in the coaches ranking, but Clemson, it's the first time they haven't been in the top 25 I looked that up. When was the last time? Was it like back in 22, I think it was, when they kind of fell out of it for a couple of weeks? It's been a little while since they were out of the top 25. Hey, they got time to turn it around, as to South Carolina. Remember last year when the Gamecocks were humbled at home by Ole Miss, they turned around and played that great stretch of football that got everybody talking about them and made them, from a projection standpoint, a highly regarded team coming into this season. So it's entirely possible. And maybe we'll find out tomorrow if Lenore Sellers is going to play at Missouri this week. Have no way of knowing. There's been no word on anything about him. They haven't even confirmed that it was a concussion. By all outward appearance, watching on television, certainly looked like that's what the case was, that he had some level of concussion. But, we're not doctors. We're not there, so we can't say for sure. And, of course, there's the question about Henry, the right tackle, and if he's going to be able to go. So that's a question mark. Meantime, Clemson is dealing with basically 4 starters who missed the Georgia Tech game. How healthy are they going to be for Syracuse? I mean, they definitely miss Antonio Williams.
No, there's no doubt. They've got to get him back, or that offense is going to continue to sputter.
Yep. And they definitely miss T.J. Moore catching the football. He did throw down a nice block that sprung Wesco for that long catch and run, but they need him to catch the football. They need him to become more of a factor. They are missing Brenningstool. I don't think there's any doubt about it. They're missing Brenningstool in that offense there.
I thought it was nice, though, that Ian Shefflin got a chance to get in there and box somebody out in the end zone. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, but that's a boutique play.
There's no doubt.
That's
They're not running
play.
a lot of those for him.
That's a very special moment for him. And he did his job. He went in there and he boxed out and he did his job.
Got a penalty flag.
Yeah. All right, some emails sent in to us. Text messages sent in to us. 803-900-4847. This from the 843. Shula needs to get rid of all his NFL playbooks. Oh, he talked about that in the past. I mean, is he trying to make Sellers into a pro-style passer at the expense of his mobility? But I thought that he threw the ball obviously very well, except for the one pick, and he ran the ball. He ran the ball on selected occasions. So I thought they had – I couldn't see anything wrong with the play calling. Execution, yes. I didn't see anything wrong with the play calling. Another text message here from the 843. You think Sellers will leave for the NFL after this year? And do you think he should if it's his decision? Well, I mean, based on what we've seen so far, I'd say don't leave.
Right. Yeah, I don't think he's ready.
No, you're not ready. I don't think that'd be a wise decision for him at this part. Emails from the 803, and we got, let's see, the order of these text messages, I should say, not emails, text messages, talking about Vandy in South Carolina. Pavia is a grown man. Isn't this like his 7th year? And was it King's 6th? I agree with Smitty about the center. He has been responsible for about half the penalties. On the offense, it's funny, this guy from Lexington who seems to want to call for Shane's job, talk about wins and losses. Isn't Shane the fastest coach to 30 wins, including Spurrier? Yeah, all of that is true. Pavia is a grown man. He's been around a while. Same thing with Haynes King. Guess the center has had some issues. He's a transfer from Troy. So they took him, expecting him to be the guy at the center spot. And Shane is the fastest coach, too. I thought it was 40 wins.
No, I think it's just 30.
Is it just 30?
I believe that's right.
Okay. Yeah. All of that is, all the above is true. And let's see what we got here. This is from Ray, the Clemson nut. Antonio Williams for the starters are out. Big hit when your best receiver is out. I don't usually read his junk, but this is kind of funny. No one wants Shane. Get over yourselves. He hasn't done much. He's well for Carolina standards. He says, you finally made a little sense there. You must have read my statement above. No, I did not pre-read your statement above. Don't humor yourself. No. That's it. That's boring. That's stupid. Yep, rest of this isn't worth reading. Every once in a while, Ray will have a sensical comment. That's rare, but
that's truly of the old saying, blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then, because for the most part, his stuff is so vile you can't read it on the air.
Exactly. That's why I have to weed our way through that. All right, back to your phone calls, 888-898-2525. We have Zach coming up at 7:35, and he'll have a good feel for everything that we've been talking about. We go to Andy in Columbia. Next up, couple lines are open as well. Andy, welcome in. How you doing?
Hey, Corn, Chris, and I think Smitty,
Andy?
if he's still there, as if he's disappeared already.
Smitty has departed the premises.
Yep, his time limit is already you don't pay him enough to stay on long enough. Couple of questions, but let me get to the most important one first. Chris, how many hot dogs were eaten this weekend, making it how many average per attendee?
It's a great question, Andy. I have not seen them release that information as of yet. Maybe we'll find out tonight or tomorrow. Now, my guess is the hot dog is going to be fewer, the consumption fewer, because the majority of fans unfortunately left at halftime on Saturday.
Ooh.
So chances of them eating 27,000 hot dogs again is pretty slim.
As bad as CCU plays, I would expect that to be one of the biggest stats that they would have put out this week, because they sure didn't have much other stats to put out. Now,
I will keep an eye on that for you.
You might want to recommend that to the SID, that might be the big stat to put out every week, if they keep this up. Now, South Carolina, Corn, stat-wise, how many penalties have we had in our first three games? Over 25?
Give me half a second, and I'll tell you.
We're averaging over 8 penalties, close to 9 penalties a game. This team has no discipline, and the execution is terrible. I mean, for them to have the amount of penalties they are having, there's no excuse. I mean, on both ends, the players' end and the coach's ends, to allow that to keep going on. I'm sorry. I mean, look at Dylan Stewart got thrown out of the game. I mean, then there's the other late hit. Then there's all the problems with the line, the movement on the line. I mean, that's just not discipline. That's not good football. I mean,
well, that's self-accountability. That's 3 times at least in his career he's been. No, 2 times. 2 times in his career he's been ejected, right? He got ejected against Ole Miss. He gets ejected this past Saturday.
And don't forget, he's going to be out the first half of the Missouri game now.
No, that doesn't apply.
Yes, I thought that applies. I thought it's a full game. I thought that it's a full game.
It wasn't a targeting call. It was he was ejected for a second personal foul, for a second unsportsmanlike.
I thought unsportsmanlike was also a full game penalty.
No, Beamer said he was asked that question on the conference call last night. He said the SEC office clarified for them that is not the case. Penalties, the Gamecocks.
Who did the game? Our boy, what's his name, did the game?
Who, Mike Morgan?
Yeah.
He did the game on radio.
Well, okay. Well, whoever did the game on TV said that he'd missed the first half of the Missouri game.
No, not correct.
So,
And the Gamecocks have had 23 penalties, 184 yards. That's an average of 61.3 per game. And nationally, they're like 100 and something in the country.
103rd. Tied for 103rd.
103rd in the country in what? Penalty yards against?
Penalties per game.
Okay.
They're averaging right at 8 penalties a game.
Yeah, 23
total.
134. 23 total.
134.
23 total.
How many? 134 teams?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, FBS teams, 134.
We're throwing all these numbers out there.
So we're
23 total penalties.
So we're 31st in penalties per game
No. Tell
across-
him again. Tell him
across
again,
the-
Berger.
Yes, no, he's right. Yeah, if you're looking at it from that, the 31st in terms of most penalties per game. Yes.
Right.
The way they rank it is fewest to most. So that's why South Carolina's 103rd.
Yeah, I'm saying we're 31st for most.
Correct.
So, I
Man,
mean,
why you want to confuse us? Can we just
well,
stick
that's
with
my. I'm doing. You just can't keep up with my Jethro Bodine ciphering. Just like last year, you couldn't get my ciphering down there, Corn. You need to do some Jethro Bodine work for yourself to get your ciphering down. You can tell that you weren't a business or an accounting major as myself, being able to work with numbers. You know,
well, that's why I
you're
couldn't
pretty poor
figure
with
out.
numbers.
I couldn't figure out why two teams with the same number of plays, 63, one would have the ball 11 minutes more.
Well, that's because you have a play clock, and one worked the play clock down longer than the other per possession.
I get that now. I understand.
You know, you really do need help with your mathematical.
That's
skills,
not all.
If
That's
I can
not
even
all.
say the word.
All right, we got to go. We got to go. We got other people.
But the coaches, that's a problem with the coaching staff.
Yeah.
Okay, the coaches need to do something with the discipline on this team.
I
You
don't
fellas
disagree
have
with
a great
that.
day.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
the time.
All right, we appreciate you. Appreciate the phone call. Let's stay on the lines. 888-898-2525 is our phone number here on Sports Talk. Manic Monday, recruiting coming up, and Zach Willis coming up. We go next to Frank down in Charleston. Okay, welcome in, Frank. Good to have you with us here on Sports Talk.
Yeah, man. Thank you. First time caller.
Yes, sir.
Watching the game the other night, and when Sellers got the helmet contact, it's just frustrating that the referee's 5 yards behind him, maybe 4, whatever, and there's no call. And it took him that long to, I guess, phone down or whatever to look at it, and then it stopped the play from making a lot of yards. And then their guy.
Oops. You're wanging on us there. Wang. Come back, because you're making some.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Continue.
Yeah. Which part did you leave? Well, what I was saying is the and then their quarterback barely gets hit, fakes falling down or whatever, and they get the 15-yard call, and he hits helmet to helmet on our quarterback, and there's no call. It's just frustrating.
I agree. I think Beamer
How
had.
is that?
I think Beamer, and thank you for the call, Bergie. I think Beamer had every right to blow his top on that situation, and I mean, my gosh, you got everybody's wired, everybody's got a headset on. You're connected to Birmingham. You got I don't know how many monitors in their replay office. If you can't signal down immediately that we want to take a look at this, you got to wait till they get up to the line and start a play that apparently had a chance to be a big play for the Gamecocks. That's another thing.
Well,
it was another good. Let me say that it was another good call. It was looked like a post route to Harbor. He had his man beat. Now, when he caught the ball, he was starting to let up because officials started blowing the whistle. But, I mean, the Gamecocks got screwed there. They really did. The officials, there should be a point in time that you can't blow the whistle to review a play if a team is at the line of scrimmage and they're calling out the signals. You got to let it go. I'm sick and tired of these replay officials signaling down to stop a play when everybody's at the line and getting ready to go. That interrupts the flow of a ball game. If you can't get it done by the time everybody's up and the ball is spotted and we're calling out signals, then it's too late. You got to let it go.
All right, that's fair. I've got no problem if you want to institute that. The problem is, in the officials' defense, you're dealing with up-tempo offenses who get back to the line of scrimmage in 5, 6, maybe 8 seconds and are ready to snap the football. If you can review a play that's close enough in that length of time, great. But the problem is what you're going to end up doing, Phil, if you go that route, the replay officials are going to buzz down virtually every play. And I don't think any of us want to see that happen.
No.
And heck, we've already seen an Atlantic Coast Conference official that was so frustrated with replay that he's resigned from the league.
But let me say this:
deal with it
what
anymore.
do they do? Here's what they do, and not every play has this sort of dilemma to it.
Sure,
but the play involving Sellers did. What do they do when there's an apparent fumble on the field? They let the play itself out.
Right.
And then if they have to review it, say somebody scoops and scores, They let that play itself out, and then they go upstairs and they review it, and if it's good, okay. If not, they go back and reset it. So they take the safe route. Let the play out, and then we'll figure it out. So if you've got a case where a quarterback is hit in the helmet, and it might have a chance, a pretty good chance, or even a 50-50 chance of being targeting, then don't wait. Just go ahead and whistle down.
Fair enough.
And you'll err on the side of caution. If they're wrong, okay, no harm, no foul. You go up the line. But if you're right, then you save all that confusion, and you save a coach from almost having a stroke on the sideline. I thought Beamer was just going to pass out there. He was screaming so hard. But that stinks. I mean, that stinks to get up to the line. You're calling your play. You get the ball snapped, and all of a sudden, here comes the official running in. You know, guys could get hurt for no reason on that play. South Carolina had a good play. Now you've shown that play to Virginia Tech. You might as well just wipe that play away. They've seen it. So they got screwed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you. And my point is, hey, if you want to eliminate a replay as much as possible, limit it as much as possible, I'm all for that. I think it has gotten to the point that officials are in a situation they're afraid to make a call anymore because they've got the eye in the sky over. And I think that's part of the reason the official in the ACC it was finally fed up with it and decided enough is enough. So, yeah, if you want to limit replay, maybe go to the challenge system that the NFL has with the coaches who are able to throw the flag on the field and challenge it. I'm all for that. The fewer replays, in my opinion, I think makes the game better.
All right, I got to read this. Your boy Ray has written back. Of course, he writes after every one of our comments. He says, I was nice tonight. Not even any bad language. I'm Tyler tonight. Already submitted my question for Dabo. Let's get fired up, boys. By the way, he says he agrees with what we're saying. That's a first. They should have called it down before. That was ridiculous. See, when you write, you don't have to write things that you agree with us about, Ray, but if you write it in a nice way, we'll read it just like we will read comments from other people.
Tell everybody we suck.
There you go. And thank you for the phone call.
He may not be wrong. That's the funny part. Right now, anyway.
Thank you for your phone call. Let's continue. We got Zach coming up, recruiting coming up as well. Phone number 888-898-2525 on this Manic Monday. We head out to Bruce in Missouri. Next up on Sports Talk. Hello, Bruce. How are you?
Thanks, Phil, for taking my call tonight.
Yes, sir.
This is Gamecock Larry's season. And I'm going to act like Gamecock Larry right now. You got to understand mistakes on the field are just reactions of what is going on. You can't think that fast. And they're doing the best they can, or whatever they're playing, whoever they're playing, the best they can on that field. It ain't about the numbers. It's about being on the field and activating the players. They're not activated. They're confused half the time, what I'm seeing. And that's Clemson, too. Anyway, if they came from Abbeville, South Carolina, they would know what to be doing, because that's what we did when I was growing up. Being on 3 state championship teams, and when we had coaches that understood what was going on the field, if you didn't do what they were supposed to do, you were off the field. The pre-novice players out there, most of them, and they are acting the game. It's their game, not yours.
All right, Bruce. Bruce, we're going to have to let you go. Bruce. What are we going to do with Bruce, Bergie?
Keeps making comments like that. Stop taking his calls.
Yeah.
That'd be an easy way to end that.
Bruce can't do that anymore, bud. I don't want it. I don't want to hear it. And I don't want to have to ban you. But we'll do it. Not going to have it. All right, some other notes from today to talk about that we haven't touched on yet. How about a little recap from the other schools around the state? Presbyterian beat Erskine because nobody else is doing it. There used to be newspapers that would have this stuff. Presbyterian beat Erskine 42-14. The Blue Hose had 545 yards. Quarterback Colin Hurst, maybe the MVP in the state thus far, 350 yards. The PC team is 3-0 for the first time in 20 years. Anderson beat Tusculum 30-0, first shutout in program history. Mercer beat Wofford 22-21. The Terriers are 0-3, but they are by a combined 8 points. 8 points. They're 0-3. South Carolina State, 55-41 over Bethune-Cookman. Ryan Stubblefield, 286 yards and a touchdown. Jordan Smith had 9 catches for 87 yards. North Greenville, 41, Barton 28. Congratulations to Nate Garner, his first win in the first game in the Carolinas, in the Conference Carolinas, which is a dumb name. Why isn't the Carolinas Conference? Why do you have to call it Conference Carolinas?
Conference Carolinas, yeah, I don't know.
Dylan Ramirez, 287 yards and 3 touchdowns. Newberry, 49-0 over Point. Yeah, our team here at the Point, we got to get better, Plummer. Go out and here's $15. Go find us a quarterback.
Well, see, Kevin's problem is he's not a good man-to-man in the secondary. We got to get him better. We need to play more zone when Kevin's out on the field.
Well, the Wolves allowed 90 yards. Reed Sharpia was 19 of 21 for 241 and 3 touchdowns. Yeah.
7 numbers.
Furman beat Campbell 28-24. Trey Hedden had 314 yards, 2 touchdowns. Evan James had 10 catches, 134 yards and a touchdown. Please overlook my misspelling of Hedden. I put a D in there instead of an N on X. Lindenwood 35, Charleston Southern 28. Tough loss. The Bucks had 442 total yards. Zoltan Osborne, 289 yards, a touchdown, 1 interception. Gardner-Webb beat the Citadel 23-13. The Bulldogs rushed for 210 yards. Allen beat Lane 29-21, first win of the season in a conference game. Jameer Dismukes, who was on Sports Talk on our stop there, 28 of 33 for 257 and a rushing touchdown. And Benedict beat Central State 10-0. The Tigers have not allowed a point in 2 games. And they play on Thursday night at home this week. I think it's Tuskegee for their Thursday night home game this week. There you go, some of the action around the state of South Carolina from this past weekend. We're going to break down the Gamecocks and the Tigers more. Zach Willis will join us after the break. 1st and 10 with Coach Zach Willis coming up, and then some recruiting. Don't go away.
On Point weather on 107 Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Partly cloudy overnight, the low temperature dipping down to 61. Tomorrow it's a blend of sunshine and clouds, more clouds than sun, and we'll have a cooler the high is 81, 20% chance we get a shower. We start to warm back up Wednesday, 83 is the high. Thursday it's 87, and then all the way back to 90 for Friday and Saturday. We'll be dry from Wednesday through Saturday. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
At Palmetto State Armory, we offer the largest selection of guns and ammunition at unbeatable prices. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff are here to provide personalized assistance, ensuring you find exactly what you need. If you enjoy outdoor activities like hunting, camping, or hiking, our clothing and outdoor gear collection has got you covered. We also feature an exceptional indoor range facility where you can experience the thrill of shooting in a safe and controlled environment. Visit us today at PalmettoStateArmory.com or your local retail store. Palmetto State Armory, American-made for life.
Drugs from With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. FBI Director Kash Patel says DNA on a towel wrapped around a rifle found near where conservative activist Charlie Kirk was assassinated matches that of the 22-year-old accused in the killing. Patel told Fox and Friends on Monday investigators also have used DNA to link suspect Tyler Robinson with a screwdriver recovered from the rooftop where the fatal shot was fired. Authorities in Utah are prepared to file capital murder charges against Robinson as early as Tuesday. President Trump says the U.S. military again targeted a boat allegedly carrying drugs from Venezuela, killing 3 people aboard the vessel. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 49 points, the Nasdaq rose 207. More details at srnnews.com.
Hello, this is Stacy Huff, host of Huff Nation Sports Zone, each and every Saturday, 10 to 11 a.m. right here on 100.7 FM, The Point, and also 1470 a.m. It'll be a fun trip around the world of sports. Huff Nation Sports Zone, Check it out.
I bet you've heard us say this, you can't pick your power company. So how can you control your power bill? By partnering with Ken and his local team at Broker Solar. Ken, our power is not getting any cheaper.
So every year there's typically a rate increase that happens, and the utilities claim that they want to keep up with their operating costs. Now, Broker Solar allows you to take control of that cost, own your power, create it, store it, and then use it when you need it. There's special solar financing that would take advantage of the tax credits. You can have several options on how long you'd like to pay off your solar system and how quick the return could be.
No two homes are the same, so you work with homeowners, business owners to fit their needs based on how many solar panels they need and even where they want the panels to go. Most folks prefer it on the roof, but some don't.
We frequently get asked about solar on the ground or even on a separate solar structure like a carport or a lean-to that comes off the house.
Call Broker Solar. Call them now, 803-807-7417 or online, brokersolar.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Do you crave growth for your business? That's where The Point comes in. Fran Halloran here. Kevin Cohen and the other local hosts like me have worked to create a space where listeners transform into family. Are you a local business aiming for the stars? You need to get with Kevin and let him help create an individualized blueprint for your growth using the influential stage of The Point Radio. Reach out directly at 563-8558. Teaming with The Point, make this year extraordinary.
Hi, I'm Tazima. Join me every Saturday at 11 a.m. for Small Business Saturday. We'll celebrate business owners in our community while learning their stories of success and failure. It's Small Business Saturday right here at 100.7 The Point.
Now, First and 10 with Zach Willis on the SportsTalk Media Network.
Well, thank you so much, Mrs. Willis, for introducing the coach tonight. He is Zach Willis with us once again, First and 10 on Sports Talk with Zach Willis. Coach, good evening. How are you?
Doing great. She also helped us with the radio tonight, the audio.
Yeah. Got you hooked up, huh?
Did. Her and Josh got it done.
Very valuable. MVP, to say the least. A lot to uncover here over the next 15 minutes or so. So let's get into it. Let's begin with South Carolina since they had the more one-sided loss to Vanderbilt. What particular issues did you see?
Well, Phil, actually, I felt like when the quarterback got hurt, it killed him. There was no response. The backup quarterback just was totally ineffective, and that made it a huge, an uphill climb, and it seemed like they just collapsed after that. Now, I didn't think Coach Beamer collapsed. His comments at halftime were dead on the money. He knew what had to happen, and it just didn't work for him.
Why? What were you seeing around the offense before Sellers got hurt? I mean, they had some good drives. They took it down for a touchdown their first possession. They moved it their second possession. He threw a pick in the red zone. I mean, I thought they had some moments there where they moved the ball pretty well until he got hurt.
That's the key.
Yeah, go ahead.
That was the key to the whole ball game. And I hate to say that, but that's just a fact. You know, that if you watch that game, if you watch that team there was two teams, the team with Sellers and the team without Sellers, offensively, defensively, and the special teams. And I just didn't feel like kid from Myrtle Beach was ready to play. They had I think a fourth down or third down and one, and he rolled out on a boot, had a kid wide open, easy throw, going to take a hit, and he couldn't make the throw. And it just seemed like all the air went out of him. And I'm not blaming him, but it just that kind of adversity hit them. Sellers is such a dynamic player, and they built so much around him. It killed them. And I don't have an explanation why, but it happens sometimes.
Let me ask you a quick question. One of the play calls that I thought was a bad play call was when they went for it on fourth down. The second time they faced a fourth down situation, first time they punted, which I was surprised they did. I thought they could have gone for it. But this time they went for it. They lined up in the shotgun, and they handed off to the running back up the middle, and he got stoned. But up front, I noticed the left guard, who was the freshman, Surratt, he pulled on the play. Like, I don't know, they were maybe trying to run a trap or something on the other side. Didn't make any sense to me at all on fourth and short that you would, A, line up in the shotgun, and B, that you would pull a lineman on a fourth and short play. Do you know what I'm talking about? Can you explain why that play happened the way it did?
I can tell you what I think, Phil. I think they were thinking Vanderbilt was going to come off the ball and fire off and penetrate deep, and they were going to try to trap that look, which means kick that guy out, create a big seam out of the middle, and pop that thing. And it can happen, but you got to get great drive across the line, except for that one penetrator. And if you don't have that penetrator, it's going to screw you up. And that's what happened. And timing it out of the shotgun is very difficult to do.
Would it not be smarter to line up under center and have your offensive linemen all moving forward on the snap and just sneaking ahead for a yard?
Phil, I always try to never lose ground to gain ground in a short yardage situation. It's just not a good idea. And I thought their play calling was great as long as Sellers was in there, but it was really tough without him.
Defensively, they gave up a touchdown drive to open the game. They gave up a touchdown drive to open the second half. They had their star player ejected for the second time in his career. And it wasn't a targeting hit. It was unsportsmanlike, two unsportsmanlike calls. What'd you see on the defensive side of things?
It seemed to me like the defense pretty much went as the offense went. When Sellers went out, things began to snowball on them, and they got frustrated. They took chances they shouldn't take. And at the end of the day, Phil, I think they just lost their concentration and ability to execute, and they didn't play near as hard as they're capable of playing. One of the things we always see about South Carolina's defense is they're able to play hard, effort-wise, probably their toughest in the country, especially last year. They played against Virginia Tech very hard, and we're used to seeing that sort of tempo. Now, one thing I will say about that is the Ole Miss game last year, hopefully that's what we're seeing here is an aberration, and they'll come back strong. Coach Beamer has proven over and over that this team's resilient, and he's the resilient coach. So I look for them to get better, but they've got to have Sellers at quarterback. That's got to happen.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll find out more about his situation tomorrow, and hopefully he'll be cleared and able to go. They will certainly need him. So the hope is, from a South Carolina standpoint, if you're a Gamecock fan, like you said, they had the bad game against Ole Miss at home last year. That turned into be a one-off, and they turned it around, had a great run. Same deal here. Kind of like near about the same part of the season. Bad home game, bad home loss. You hope it's a one-off. What do you think? How do you think the coaches are going to handle things this week in practice to make sure there's no repeat of this?
I think you just have to learn from your mistakes, Phil. It's got to be one of those things where we got to get Luke Doty more reps. He's going to be the backup. We've got to have a plan for him in case Sellers goes in, and they may well have, but it's going to have to tweak it to do things he can do. And that's tough, but that's what great coaches do. They had Robbie Ashford last year, who I think was probably better, and he's starting for Wake Forest this year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, not having him hurt them in that ball game quite a bit in a big way. And I think that the kids have to understand if Sellers go down, it's next man up, and we can't let up. We can't doubt the game plan. We can't lose our composure and get kicked out of ball games, which is the worst looking thing we saw. But I think Coach Beamer did a great job. The referee in the first half was horrible. Called South Carolina touchdown, and that ended up being a big deal in that football game.
Yeah. Well,
huge deal.
I don't know that they're married to Luke Doty to be they were for this emergency situation, but now with a week of practice, it could be a Cutter Woods, it could be an Aaron Nolan that emerges. Well,
it could be.
Have to wait and see.
I want to be fair to Luke and saying, okay, did they have plays in the game plan that he could use, because Sellers is such a special athlete. There's built-in escape things for him that nobody else can do that he can do physically. It'd be like when Cam Newton was at Auburn, somebody coming in for him if he got hurt, or Tim Tebow at Florida, somebody coming in for him. And this kid is a massive talent, and he can take the team and put him on his back. But what happens when he goes out? Now they got to learn. They got to figure that out. This season's not lost at all. Just need to learn. It's not a loss if you learn from it. Or it's a loss, but it's not a failure if you learn from it. And that's what's got to happen. And I think that's what they're going to try to do.
All right, let's turn our attention to Clemson, and they lose closer game, of course, but a similar type team, a team with a dominant quarterback who played extremely well, a team with an excellent offensive line, Georgia Tech, some speed in that backfield. Man, they had some speed at that running back position, good receivers. And their defense was good enough. I mean, you hold Clemson to 21 points. That's a good day's work. Interesting thing here, I looked it up, and this goes to the Clemson offense as a whole and in general. In their last 8 games against Power 4 opponents, their last 8 games going back to last year against Power 4 opponents, in 7 of those games, they've maxed out at 24 points. That's been their high in 7 of those 8 games. The one exception was the ACC championship game. So, I mean, this offense was not built to be a 21, 22-point-a-game offense. It was built to be a 35, 40-point-a-game offense, was it not?
Oh, yeah. It definitely is. And I feel like, Phil, this thing is a broken record for us. They start out the year, the quarterback looks confused. The receivers weren't running the right routes. I know there were several times where they read the coverage wrong and ran routes that were wrong. And I wonder if the down the field throws are a little bit too complex on their route reads for some of these receivers. Because it would make sense to me that with the speed they have, these kids look like they're running at like 3/4 speed. Wesco caught that ball in a crossing route. Once he caught it, he was gone. But how many times have we seen him run that fast, Phil, on a route? Not very much. And I think they're running and reading, and I think it's slowing them down. And I think that if you look at Cade, he's having to wait on them. And it's not working out. It's not timing out. And, they dug themselves a hole. What was it, 13-0? They were down, and they've been down in every game. And it just makes it tough on them. They came back and made a great game out of it. But Georgia Tech's underrated. You're absolutely right. I expected him to have a very tough time, and I wasn't shocked that they lost the ball game based on what I've seen earlier in the year. Georgia Tech's a top 25 team, if not top 15 team. And that quarterback, he's the one ought to be up for the Heisman Trophy. He's been like this for 2 years now. He's a great player, tough runner. He can throw the football. And he just doesn't get the credit he deserves. And Georgia Tech's kicker, fantastic too. I mean, they did a great job in that ball game. And Clemson just made just enough mistakes in the first half to lose the game in the second half when he actually played pretty well. And the defense hadn't been as dominant as we were expecting them to be either. I don't see a huge improvement there. I see effort there, and I see talent making plays, but it's inconsistent effort. Maybe they're a little confused or too vanilla, but there's some stuff they need to do. But I will say that I do believe Randall is a quality back based on what I saw too. Mm-hmm. He had a great run on that 3rd or 4th and 22 that he made. That was incredible.
1st and 10 with Zach Willis here tonight on Sports Talk. And Coach, Phil and I were actually texting back and forth after Randall made that run. And I told Phil, I said, if they go on to win this game, that may be the play of the year. I agree with you. I thought it was an outstanding play by him.
There's no doubt. He's got the instincts, the size, the lateral mobility, and we knew he had the speed at wide receiver. But look at him running with the football, knowing where he's going with the ball versus how he ran routes before. And you'll see a difference in speed and explosion. Looking at a kick return I guess it was an ACC championship when he won that ball game for him or got him back in a ball game with a big kickoff return. That's kind of when his star started on the rise for him. But there's a lot of confusion on that team right now, especially on the offensive side of the ball from what I can see. Effort's great. It's just the execution's not there.
From a coaching perspective, do you think Dabo made the right call not trying to call a timeout to maybe ice the Georgia Tech kicker at the end, just letting them come out there, try and line up and set up for the field goal? Obviously, it backfired, but, I mean, is that the right decision from a coaching perspective?
I didn't even think about it, to be honest, but I'd have probably tried to ice him. It never hurts to try to make that kid think about it, that's for sure. Called it last minute, but I hadn't thought about it. That's an excellent point. I didn't think about it, but yeah, that would have been a good thing to do. But now I forgot about it too. I was so hung up on some of the things, the opportunities they missed in the first half, it really bothered me. And I know with Dabo, he like any other coach, he's really, really intent on being fundamentally sound, and these kids just doing what they're supposed to. You'll hear him say all the time, just do your job. And they're not doing that, and you've got to look at making things simpler if that's possible. I'm not in the staff room, so I don't know, but there's something that's not translating from practice in the game, especially in the passing game for Clemson right now, and it's been for the last several years, especially the first half of the season.
Coach, in that ball game, Klubnik had 2 turnovers. He had the fumble and then just a really bad interception. I thought he's thrown 3 picks this season to go along with 3 touchdowns. I've watched it every Saturday. Unfortunately, from Coastal's perspective, Chanticleer is really struggling with turnovers. As a head coach, when you get a team that is coughing up the football more frequently than you would like, how do you address that in practice?
You go back to the basics, ball protection drills, and also you look at what you're doing now. One of the things that I talk about basics is about every time I looked up, Clemson's ball carriers had the ball in the wrong hand. Now, what do you mean by wrong hand? We'll go into the dirty segment that Phil loves so much. But you got to get that ball close to the sideline. If you're close to the right sideline, the right hand's, you can't talk tonight. Your ball's in the right hand. Near sideline, that's where that arm's going to be. Left side, you can see me, it's going to be tucked in that 5 points of contact in that left arm. Cade has his arm, his inside arm with the ball. He gets hit with a helmet right on it, bam, and there it goes. And then even when Wesco scored, he carried it in the inside arm all the way down the field. Somebody could have got a hand on it, that it had trouble. So, I mean, it's fundamentals, and there's simple things that you got to stay on all the time. But then you simplify your play calling, you simplify your formations, you do everything to where those kids, as talented as they are, can play at 1,000% wide open.
We wrap it up with this happy note for you. Presbyterian is 3-0.
Well, congratulations to the Blue Hose. I was almost the Blue Hose, as I told you. I went to summer school there, and then I liked to whip them when I was at Newberry and when I played at Furman. But they whooped Furman good for me this year, so I'm going to have to tip my hat to them.
What was
Phil.
What was your Bronze Derby record?
I only won 1, man. 1 and 2. My biggest victory was I got them to quit playing us. We won the championship, and we kind of mailed it in because we had to rest people for the national playoffs. And their president said we had something like an unfair academic advantage or something. I can't remember now.
But too many smart people? You had too many smart guys?
We had to what was funny, we had the highest GPA in the conference, and we were conference champions. So I don't know why they thought we had an unfair advantage. And then there was there was a lot of coverage in the media from this certain radio host that's wildly popular, and they thought that was unfair too. But we got great recruiting out of it, and we also cooperated with the media. Coach Holtz taught me the media is the tool. Use the tool. So
we are tools,
right, Phil? So
we are definitely tools. All right, we have to run.
Thanks, Coach.
Congratulations
as always,
to the Blue Hose.
Great stuff from you. Have a great week. Talk to you next week. That's Zach Willis, 1st and 10, with us here on Sports Talk. Appreciate it as always. Yes, we are tools, aren't we, Bergie?
Indeed. Tommy Spangler would have enjoyed chatting with us on a consistent basis when he was coaching at PC.
Yes, he would have. We talked to him a lot. We talked to him a lot.
Coach is outstanding.
But Coach Englehart's getting it done, and he's
sure
good with
is.
the media if you reach out to him. So
They haven't won more than 6 games since they've gone Division I. They've got a really good opportunity to change that this year.
For sure. All right, back with recruiting.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. That's the sound of a big hit on you and your car or truck. I've been an attorney for more than 30 years, helping people who get injured in car wrecks and truck wrecks. If you have serious injuries, call Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or email me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. That's Corbett. I don't get paid unless I recover for you. Jim Corbett Attorney, for your best recovery from a big hit, 803-765-2968, or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Your home is where your memories live. It's where you laugh and where you love. We understand the importance of the valuables under your roof, tangible and intangible alike. So no matter what's around the corner, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for nearly 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Learn more at scfbins.com.
Call me, Alex Satterfield, at 803-749-9171 for all of your Midlands insurance needs.
Has your credit seen better days? At Founders Federal Credit Union, we get it. Life happens. That's why we offer personal and auto loans that help you move forward. With flexible terms and a team that sees more than just a number. You don't need perfect credit to start your next chapter. Visit foundersfcu.com or a local office today. Founders, helping you do life on your terms. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
South Carolina's taste buds have spoken, and they're asking for beef. There are more than 7,800 farms raising cattle from pasture to plate in the Palmetto State. So whether it's steaks on the grill before the big game, sirloin medallions plated for date night, or burgers with a family, make sure beef is a part of your playbook this football season. Smoked, grilled, and slow roasted. Find the best way to enjoy your beef at scattle.org. Beef. It's what's for dinner in South Carolina. Funded by the South Carolina Beef Council, part of the Beef Checkoff program.
Every lottery ticket purchase keeps education in our state moving forward. In fact, the lottery has raised more than $200 million for state school buses to get our students to school safely every day. Then, the lottery helps those students go even further in their education by funding the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. So remember, when you play the lottery, you're keeping South Carolina students on the road to success. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
Okay, time for recruiting tonight here on Sports Talk, brought to you by Seawell's. Daily lunch and buffet cranks up this week tomorrow at Seawell's. Make sure you get there from 11 till 2. Enjoy a great lunch, and you need the best in the catering business. Just make that phone call to Seawell's. Let them handle your big event. 803-771-7385, online at SeawellsCateringSC.com. Let's fly through some of the top news notes that we have here for you tonight. Clemson commitment, defensive end Dre Quinn of Beaufort, Georgia, was at Tennessee Saturday. That's a no-no. And he says he may return for an official visit. That's a no-no. If you're committed to Clemson, Dabo Swinney does not allow this. He did it anyway. He flaunted it too. I mean, he kept it quiet, and now he's talked about it with the recruiting websites that cover Tennessee.
Shame.
He's not hiding, which means he may be thinking of decommitting and committing to Tennessee. We shall see. Clemson target, 26 linebacker JaMychal Garrett of Baton Rouge, committed to Ole Miss. He was once committed to Auburn. One-time Clemson target, 27 quarterback Peyton Houston of Shreveport, Louisiana, committed to LSU today. He camped at Clemson last summer and was one of the quarterback offers by offensive coordinator Garrett Riley. South Carolina 27 quarterback target Trent Seaborn, who was in Columbia for the SC State game, was at Miami on Saturday, appeared to have a great time. Burns 27 running back David Segura was at Tennessee. 27 defensive end Seth Tillman of South Point was to be at Tennessee Saturday. 28 running back Michael Martin of Christ Church was at Syracuse over the weekend. 29 running back Braden Bolts of Crestwood was at Ohio State. South Carolina's list of recruits in this weekend of the uncommitted variety included that 27 defensive end LaDamian Guyton of Savannah, who is committed to Texas Tech but not to South Carolina. This is the guy who's got a $3 million NIL deal reportedly. Other recruits from the 27 class at South Carolina or expected for this past weekend included defensive lineman Marquise Evans, defensive end Jaden Bryant, defensive end KJ Green, defensive end Anthony Sweeney, defensive end Frederick Ards, defensive lineman Antoine McCoy, receiver Jaden Kelly Murray, receiver Jonathan Dillon, receiver Tajay Watson Martin, quarterback Tyler Chance, quarterback Jackson Knotts, offensive lineman Ty Johnson. Also 28 center Brody Lorenzo of Dutch Fork was in at the South Carolina game on Saturday night. And 26th place kicker Asher Holland of Durham was at South Carolina. He's a teammate of Gamecock commitment, offensive lineman Noah Clark. In baseball, left-handed Evan Diet of New Smyrna Beach, Florida, committed to South Carolina. Catcher Caden Bourjarding of Etowah, Georgia, committed to Clemson. They're in the 27 class. That'll do it. Thank you, Bergie.
Yes, sir.
Have a great night.